Micro, please.
Now, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioner, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In fact, in the recent past, we didn't have that many opportunities to praise the European Union for something very concrete and tangible. And I must say that the aviation sector has been a success, and has been a success thanks to the European Union. Imagine 20 years ago, air transport and the possibilities and opportunities for consumers, for us travelers. I think that flying for a weekend somewhere in Europe at low cost was practically difficult to imagine. In fact, aviation at that time was maybe for a limited number of people. And this is a concrete result of the single European sky and liberalisation that we managed to pursue on the European Union level. Now, increased aviation transport doesn't mean that we don't have any challenges. In fact, I could name at least some of them. Environmental targets, for sure. I think nobody would deny today that we need to continue with lowering of emissions from air transport. Competition with third countries, digitalisation. It is now more than a year ago that the Commission came with its plan to address these and some other challenges. In fact, it proposed to start negotiations with our main partners, revise the rules on the European Aviation Safety Agency, untap EU potential for growth by revising some internal regulations. This is, of course, very much welcome, and we have already started working on some of it. But at the same time, we still expect some of the proposals. The aviation sector undoubtedly requires heavy investments in a fast-evolving environment. If we want to be efficient, then we need to set a clear vision for this sector, for the investments we make today and in the future, and we need to have a vision for the next, even I would say, 50 years. This is to a certain extent the, let's say, purpose of this report, to try to find some practical alternatives for what is not working today, to make some proposals for the future. I am afraid I cannot list all of them today, but at least allow me to make a few points. First of all, develop a connectivity index based on added value of all modes of transport in order to rationalise investment and improve the overall resilience of the transport network in Europe while improving connectivity. This index can help policymakers to make the appropriate decisions without undermining territorial cohesion. Secondly, a trans-European motorway of the sky to limit the impact of possible disruptions to where it is occurring and therefore allowing EU flights to pursue their journey. This was a bit of a debate in our meetings, in fact, with some of my colleagues, and I promised I would make it clear to the Commission. This concretely means that we are putting an EU stamp on a part of the airspace and saying that in this airspace the EU should have the priority over national flights. This is not against national sovereignty, I would like to stress, and this is not against the right to strike. On the contrary, this is only about recalling some obligations that we should have towards the European Union. A European aviation model. I can be very brief on this point. We need to stop to think that we will solve problems of competition with our partners by putting an end to its competition. This is only going to be detrimental to passengers. Competition is an opportunity for our airlines. We need to provide them with the right safeguard, of course, and this is why the European Parliament will be following closely the negotiations on air agreements. Intermodality. I find it a very important element of this report because quite often when we talk about transport mode, especially aviation, we tend to take it separately from other modes of transport. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, security. There is no need to recall why this is a major concern now. Of course, we need better coordination of EU intelligence, make sure we make the most up-to-date technology equipment, but we should also recall that we should pay attention not to overburden passengers, and that is why the Commission is invited to consider the creation of an EU pre-check system where passengers could voluntarily register in order to go through a smooth security checks once at the airport. There are many more in the draft aviation strategy, and maybe we will have an opportunity still to debate it today. Thank you.
Σας ευχαριστώ. Εκ μέρους της Επιτροπής Απασχόλησης και Κοινωνικών Υποθέσεων, το λόγο έχει ο κύριος Christensen.
Tak for det, her formand. Jeg vil gerne takke mine kolleger i både beskæftigelses- og transportudvalget for at stå sammen i kampen for bedre forhold i europæisk luftfart. Der er her nu brug for bedre regler. De regler, vi